Alright, this video we're going to cover the Vulcan trigger assembly and how to fine tune it to your liking. Alright, let's cover the first stage, travel. Alright, let me cock this, then you can actually see. It was already cocked, but leave it on there. Alright, this trigger, the blade, you cannot really turn the angle like you want it more laid back a little bit, shorten the pull. You can't really do that because this safety catch here is a sliding plate that goes on this notch on the trigger blade. I'll show you when it slides in. It prevents it from moving, from firing it accidentally. Okay, and you cannot set it back. Then this plate, well, if you set it all the way here, it won't hit it. All right, it's like that. If you set it too far back, it won't go in there and makes the safety useless. Okay, so the trigger position, you only got one option, all the way forward. All right, but let me cock it again and show you. This one is set that much play before it goes off. All right, let me cock it. Let me all the way forward. Show you that, and it goes off. This is set around 8 ounces, but anyway, if you only like a first stage or minimize the travel, all right, you need to let me show you this rod here. You need to make it longer to minimize that creep, this first stage travel. All right, to do that, and it's kind of this turnbuckle here, this rod is screw onto this turnbuckle, and there's another one on this side, a turnbuckle screw onto the part of the trigger assembly. You can't really adjust that one. If you do take it off, you pry it open, because one side the pin is brazed on, so you have to pry it open to clear the hole so you can slide it out. But you can't slide it out, there's no play, because of this trigger linkage preventing you from pushing this linkage outward to clear all these pieces here. Then you can't get this piece out even though you pried it out and get it off that hole. So the only way to do it is the front side, right? You do I already took this off earlier, but there's 4 cap screws, countersunk screws holding this piece on. All right. All right. I'll show you a demonstrator. I'll pry it open with my fingers if you can see it. See, I pry it open. It just springs in and out. All right. Then you turn this to make it longer, counterclockwise. That way, make it shorter the other way around. That's how you adjust your length of pull, or none at all, right, on your first stage. To put this back, I noticed this brace piece was in this side. I kind of partially the edge on the blade and then pry it open. Well, it was on this side. Kind of got to hunt for it. It's kind of hard when I'm looking through this video camera. Oh, it's over here. Never mind. There you go. All right. While we're here, I'll discuss this safety catch. And if it's too loose, all you do is screw on the screws here, because on the back of it is a ball bearing that goes in this little hole and notch. It stays in engaged or disengaged position. So tighten down the screw to have a little slight friction then you have more of a, it stays in place. Doesn't just adjust it the way how much feel you want, because you're gonna adjust this by your trigger finger. You don't want it too tight. All right. And when you put this back on, make sure the spring is not compressed, and can't get this plate on. You need to put this back that side. Also, the spring here adjusts your pull weight. All right. Let me put a couple screws on this, keep it in place. All right. Wish I got my screw here, but anyway, this adjustable collar here, you could move it back and forth. You move it forward to compress the spring, and you have more weight on the trigger first stage. All right, you want lighter, loosen it, and back out a little bit, and don't back up too much. Then the spring has play, it has no tension. Then you'll affect how it feels. All right, it might not set back. It won't reset forward anymore because you had no spring tension here. All right, let's look at the back side. All right. Let me zoom in. All right. Let me the screw here adjusts your shear engagement. I'll show you when I cock it. All right. Hope you can see it. Focus on it. This piece here is holding this upper shear that holds the spring tension on the hammer. So it kind of sits on this piece here. I don't know if you can see it. That piece sits on the second part of the shear assembly. All right. When I pull the trigger, it's going to push it back this way and let this shear go down, because all that weight of the spring forcing the spring hammer that way, it's going to release it. Just watch it how it goes off. This play here is my first stage travel. If I go further than that, it'll let the hammer down, the shear part, and let the hammer loose and hit the valve. All right. This trigger here has a travel. After it goes off, you can adjust the travel, how far you want the trigger blade to go travel back, by adjusting this screw here. Because see how it wants to go back, and this screw here has you can see it right there, it's preventing it from going all the way back. So you can fine tune it how far the trigger blade travel after it breaks. All right. And this one, I'll show you how to adjust it real quick. Quickest way to adjust this is back it off. Sometimes this lock nut here is on there kind of snug, so when I back it out, it doesn't really unjam it. There's a lot of resistance, so it's okay to adjust it like that when it's tight. It'll still move back and forth. All right. Let me cock it here. Right. I'll show you. I made that trigger. Let me focus. You see how much metal it is there? The upper and the lower part of shear. There's a lot of meat there for the travel, for this piece to go back before the top portion will go down and let the hammer loose. I'll show you. In this position, there should be a lot of creep. All right, when I pull trigger, I'm already in second stage. I'm pulling, and it goes off. All right. Try to get a closer view. that much in that position. Let me shoot it, then now you see. It's kind of hard to see. Hold on. Well, anyway, I'll set it off. You'll see. First stage, you pull, feel the creep, and it goes off. Now, to adjust this properly, for me, I turn it all the way till I can't cock it. See, it won't cock. Now, I start backing it off on it. Then I try to cock it till it catches. So that one, it's sheer caught, right? It's barely on the edge, as you can see. All right. Then you test fire it. Here's your creep. Now, hey, wow, that's really light. If you want it like that, more power to you. But see it? Okay, first, and I think it's about, feels like 5 or 6 ounces. All right, that's how you set it. After you do, this lock nut here, make sure if it didn't back out, you leave it the way it is. All right. If the set screw, this cap screw is loose, you can turn it by your finger. Go and snug down. Tighten down on its lock nuts, jam nuts. Then you test it out again if the setting didn't move at all. All right. There it is. Also, there's a spring here. There's an adjustment. I don't know why they put it here, because if you, this flathead screw here, you could change it to this position and that position to move the spring here. It's like a leaf spring, wire spring. See it? This will make your pull tighter. So I don't know what anybody would have a tighter, but it will affect when it goes off. It's not this play. It's after it breaks. It's this weight. That's how you adjust it. It's by this spring here. It's already at the minimum. If you want it looser, you just need to loosen this, bend the spring, so this part will travel clockwise more, has a little tension, and that's the only way to reduce it, or change that spring to a lighter one. Usually that spring is bendable. I usually bend it so this catch is further back that way, so it'll rotate more clockwise, and it will give you a lighter feel after it breaks. All right. And that's how I mostly adjust your trigger. It's pretty adjustable. I like the feel of it. So it's a nice trigger system. All right. Any inputs or any video requests to cover a certain area, more detail, drop me a feedback on it. All right. Catch you later.